morning, y'all. Welcome back to That Crazy Fish. Today I'm going to pull out these 3 carburetors and we're going to rebuild them. It's going to be coming off from my 2005 Mercury 50 horsepower 2-stroke. In order to get to these 3, I had to take out this oil reservoir holding down by these 2 bolts right here. And then I had to take out this air manifold. Let's get to it. So we're going to take out these 2 bolts first to remove this oil reservoir. Next, we're going to pull out the manifold right here. It's just being held by a Phillips bolt up here. And to pull this out, you just pretty much wiggle it. There it goes. So before we remove these bolts that's holding our carburetor in to the block, we have to disconnect a few things over here. We have to disconnect this link that connects all 3 of them, and then we also have to disconnect these hoses. So first I'm going to remove these links. Just use a flat screwdriver and carefully pry it out because it's plastic. And it should pop right off. There you go, that's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And now we're going to disconnect these lines right here. This big line is where it's coming out after the fill filter. I'm just going to use a knife and cut these zip tie carefully, not to cut into the tube. So what I do is I'll face the blade the other way. So if the blade does run, it won't hit the tube. And I'm going to cut this one. Just take your time, there's no rush. Make sure you're carefully not cutting into the tube at all. There you go. Now I'm going to leave these right here, but I'm going to cut this right here. So now, just pull this right out. Now I'm going to pull this down. Careful when you're pulling this down because this is plastic, so if you break that, you're going to have to order a new one. There you go. Cutting this one as well. And remove that. So now that we got these removed, I'm just going to set this to the side, out of our way. I'm just going to leave this bottom one on. Now that we got all the hose disconnected, we got the link disconnected. Now we can take this off, which is the main bolt that holds the carburetor to the block. Since this is a 2005, I'm not sure when was the last time it was done. So this bracket right here is what's holding the air manifold together to the carburetor. Just be sure y'all keep track of what goes where. Before I took all this apart, I did use my phone to take pictures of the original location of everything. So I advise to do that. It's my first time doing this. There you go. First one off. It's easier to leave this on until you pull this top one off and then disconnect the hose from the fill filter to the first carb. And we got the first one off, guys. Now we're going to move down to the second one. Just make sure y'all pay attention to which one is the top one, middle, and which one's the bottom one. And now the second one is out. This very bottom one, there's this black bracket that's holding up this oil reservoir that this little rubber go into. So you just gotta take out this bolt, and then it should come right off. But before we take this bottom one off, over here there's this link that's connected to the oil injector. Let me show y'all. There's this link right here that we need to pop it off with a flathead screwdriver as well, the same way that we did with the other side. Just be careful. There you go, just like that. Now we can take out this bottom one. All right, now we just pull it out like this. We can remove this bracket for now. And this is the bottom one. So I got the first carb right here. So make sure y'all drain out the fuel. Set this aside. We got that fuel coming out. All right, now that all that is empty, flip it around. There's 4 screws that's holding this bottom together. All right, now that you got those 4 screws out, just pull it right up. And that's how the inside looks. It looks pretty clean in here, so I think somebody already went in here and cleaned it out. But since I read about the kit and stuff, I'm just going to change out everything. And just make sure everything is working correctly. So to take out this float, there's a pin right here that's holding it in. And just pull it out. Set it to the side. Lift it straight up. But as you can tell, there's this other pin right here. Be careful with that. And remember the position. It just pretty much hook onto this little tab like that. Set that aside. This is one of the seal, but the seal feels pretty hard. Now you flip it over and take this out. Like that. And this looks pretty clean in here too. I bought this tool off of Amazon. It's supposed to be like a little tiny tip cleaner. Clean the inside of that needle. Be sure to find the right size for it though. Let's see. That's a little bit too big, so maybe 1 step down. You don't want to force it in there because you don't want to take away any of the metal that is there. There you go, that's the right one. There you go. And you just pretty much stick it in there. Go straight up and down to clean it. Alrighty. These holes look pretty clean. I'm gonna take this one off right here. I'm gonna use this carb cleaner right here. My buddy said it's the best. I'm just gonna spray it everywhere. Spray it down this needle. Flip it around. Spray it in here, into these small holes. Spray this one. Spray it in here. Okay. Now that you got all the carbs cleaned out, now it's time to replace all the seal and put all the parts back together. So I use OEM parts. I bought this kit off of boats.net. Look, yeah. This one is the old needle, and it has a black rubber tip. And this one is the OEM part. Don't use these parts. Don't order from Temu or Alibaba. And look, this is a good seal. And look, this is some cheap parts. It's deteriorating in there. We're gonna put the seal back on, and it can only go on one way, like that. And then we're gonna put this one on as well. And now we're gonna hang this needle back into this position. Just like that. And it just hangs like that. But when you place it down, make sure the needle goes into this hole. And then you put this pin back in to hold this float valve up like that, just like that. And then you put this cover back on. When y'all tighten it, make sure you're tying it like an X. Just tighten it until it's snug. Now you flip it around, and you put this on. Same thing with these screws, just tighten it until it's snug. And then you put this drain plug back in. There's this washer as well. And there you go. A rebuilt carb, all clean, and now you just do it to the rest of them. Just like that, y'all. We have all 3 carbs rebuilt. Now it's ready to put back on the block. So I'm gonna go clean the block area, get it real clean, and then reinstall it. All y'all guys gotta do is just reverse the taking apart of these carbs. It'll go right back in. All right, well, I got everything put back together. Got this link put back together. Now the moment of truth is to try it out. See if she fire on. We got the water hose hooked up, and I'm gonna go turn on the water, and let's check her out. Water is going. Might take a few turns, a few crank. She's been sitting, and I just took everything out from her. Let's do it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, thanks for watching, y'all. But that's a wrap.